Yes. Smaller scale. 14 people, 14 instruments, which is legal or illegal. But still, I say
the Russian doesn't count and we
I have yeah, 6.
Nice to see you. I didn't even hear from 3 months.
Yeah. I'm running the Google.
I saw this side. That's a pleasant surprise. I hear Rapat is also here. I came in the car with him and I was 3 minutes. And but you'll come to us on in February.
Yes.
Yeah. I got your abstract. Sorry, I had been meaning to reply, but I'm busy.
Okay.
I got your abstract. I'll announce it in later. So is the Guru here every year or this year?
No.
This year. First, sometimes in village or something.
Yeah, village was running. Then 2019 was the 17, 18. And then again, I did what here. 21, I think. Then last year I was mainly active. I didn't do the group. I was trying to collect students for the group.
Next year. That works themselves.
Strategy.
But you are the game theorist. You should have strategies.
Thank you very much for organizing. Okay. Yeah, I do.
Because you are already supposed to come to the late, no? You are yesterday, not today. No, you came early, not today. You're supposed to reach this morning, no? Are comfortable?
Yeah, he slept well.
Oh, you can do that.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's an effect on this.
There are wires on the take care. Right. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಕೊಡ್ತಿದ್ರು ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ರು.
Why am I kept my name? I don't have to say anything.
No, I'll just generally can. After my overview, you can just put up a word like.
No, I don't even need a name.
Don't have to. Don't have to. Even I don't keep calling everyone's name. I forget. I'm like a snake. The moment the tail comes to the position of head, forget everything. Easier.
I don't. Then he can take the role of.
No. Here there is one. I can't go. I'll come later. Thank you.
I'll be talking on behalf of and society. And And at the end, I'll speak about our team's association for the last since 12 and at the end, I'm going to ask. And you can also speak something.
Not let it be a major.
Later after me, I'll request you to. But not matters. Anyway, since university provided opportunity to team up and have this network, we tell them thanks. Honor. Huh? Right. He is provisional. Okay. Yeah, this one. నేను అల్లి కొడుతుంది అది దొడ్డ లెటర్ ప్రింటెడ్ నన్ను ఓది అడి కల్పిస్తుంది నన్ను ఓది ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಯಾವ್ದು Just I'm not. Umashankar, where is Peter? Since he did not come for breakfast. Yes, no, he was not there. Come, please. So, how's the young?
I have this light. Well, I suppose it's baby.
That's already started snowing. It's already started snowing. When very good.
I came on. Oh, no, I think she started. She said she had to look at me and use what her life.
And after dinner. But then you wanted to it is
we went up to the. And then we went to the. I am Hindu.
Okay.
What is the next one? Long even 2-3 events are there. Not just this one, but the second one.
Planning.
I know, so the students were giving report. But for these four years,
They have stopped.
They have started only air conditioning is there, nothing else.
You want them to be busy during the photo.
We do the homework in the school.
Any kind of mathematics. That is the same.
But there are some small. They have put it there.
Then again you come to visit Narayan.
Yes.
They give some.
And 20%.
That's it.
And 22nd, I go to ISC and to.
For
the other one. It's very good.
Black hole. Very good, of course.
This I. Seven.
It's great that you finally made it.
Yeah.
You can apply that.
Oh, that is
Yeah, then you have to go down to the detail and then understand how it's connected at the bottom, that essence. That is the thing
like
that
because of some reason.
that is.
Yes, sir.
Probably are very much interested in discussing this matter again.
Okay.
So, during the free time, you like to explore something else. Then, explore all Very person. Let me see but still, you cannot be put in jail here for all that. Okay, I just know what happened.
Where is the owner? No, not yet. Now, these 4 days, he has stopped.
You want to
Oh. Four more days. Huh? Six students. I think we have a big
Yes. So that we can do probably. Workshop. Okay.
You'll go and take. Oh, okay, thanks.
Oh, easy. Because you told that conference is also. Oh, you was thinking. Then oh, I'm sorry, I did not take care of it. Sitting there. Yeah. The one different. Please come. Just I have to. Yeah, we come over there later.
Join the conversation.
Yeah, because there is still not enough. Yeah, right.
It's all right.
I haven't seen.
Not immediately. Okay, later.
That meeting will be over.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I was sitting in meeting. Yeah. No, that day I saw it. They removed
Yeah, they all that, they want to do.
Can we take ma'am, can she come with Krishna to the kitchen? No, ma'am, they are not complete.
And I have to go to
Anyway.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
Getting 2 years ago to come there.
Right. How many people from this campus have moved for vacation? Yeah, please feel comfortable. Finally, made to come.
Yes. As a very different. Also
outside of
which is engineering. But not all the boards will have that process. The other thing which you know is one is Megan where one is Megan.
Once you go to you may get small. No, I was under, I was.
This time maybe and it doesn't speak to us well, and it should be in people. You are that is one day. Sure, but supply the. One is an active. That's applied for these days. What time you yesterday evening. How many now it's
We have the exam on Tuesday, tomorrow. So if he doesn't go today, it will be hectic. So by the time he reaches.
It's connected with.
Oh, hi. Good to see you again.
Yeah, great.
How is Chandigarh?
Pardon?
How did the Chandigarh program go? Did you come here to the?
I did go there, yeah.
Where did you go?
I'm here today and tomorrow. Oh, thanks a lot.
We don't have to. No further. So next month. I'm looking at all this.
So, yeah, I will be, on Wednesday, I will be traveling there. But then I can't stay there. You will be there as well.
I am not going.
Too much, yeah.
Hardcore metric.
Yeah. Yeah. But I,
Of course, I will go. Are you here with family?
no.
No?
Actually, I have to go home to be home on Christmas.
Of course, that's how we arrange things so that we end normally by 23rd.
Yeah. The problem is now that both my children are abroad. So this is one of the rare occasions the family comes together.
Oh, okay.
And now,
Yeah, I presume in 2013 you brought your family, right? Or 2010. Once
know-
this
I know.
ICM satellite conference you were there.
uh,
And 2013 we had this IOTA at Bangalore, IIS.
it was a conference. My children were with me when it was a celebration of, I believe,
Rajendra said, that's it.
6th birthday. So that was more,
Yeah,
something like 10
probably
years
around
ago.
2013.
Uh,
Because during
This
IOTA.
year, he will be now 71.
He is probably so.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, his birthday is in December, and he's 10 years. So he was probably born in 52. I remember because it's 10-year difference in the. So I go there, but it's in some sense it's a little bit annoying. Here I'm half of the conference, there I'm half. It's not really right, but I mean, I learned about this conference quite early and then about the other one. And because of my connection with Rajendra for such a long period, I have already promised to be here, but I can't, not going there if I
Anyway,
may.
good that after pandemic, the challenge.
Yeah. Yeah. But I saw in the program, you are now.
Sorry.
Where?
So I used to be for a while at Ashoka. Then
Yeah,
I
I know
moved to the
you were there.
Shivnagar University. We met there also.
Yeah.
So this is the
But I've seen you moved somewhere.
Right, Shivnagar University.
Uh-huh. Which is where?
Which is also in NCR area, so it is closer to Greater Noida.
Uh-huh.
It's about 20 kilometers from Ashoka.
Yeah, around there.
Around. I mean, in that area, there are a very good private universities. Government does not employ you once you cross 65.
Yeah. The other thing is maybe it's better to live around Delhi than in Delhi, just because of the pollution. I mean, we are old, we have to take care of the boat. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
We call it nothing for any reason. Looking at you. Concentrating all the medicine. Yeah, medicine. Yes, all the medicine, all the advanced, yes, advanced. Which has daily class, I've taken, but it's all the question. But medicine is very balanced. When I walk, it's fine. When I have to go and night, I have to go down. Otherwise, I don't. But we have parents. Yeah, what else we want? That's all the people. And the clear schedule for the day, but others have to say blood pressure. But it is something we didn't control. You know, looking at him, we didn't control it. You stand up for the.
I do not have step.
It's okay. Thank you.
Hopefully.
Need this.
I'm not. I don't feel no. Traveling. As long as you can give it, yes.
And the year, the engagement something or other, that now parallel.
Yes, the innovation, right? The thing is, younger generation. They want to enjoy. Then you go to the dice until somebody takes it, right?
Then after once you are not actually, then you will pursue.
No, always something.
What is it? But there is any help.
No, somebody has to.
Once you have given some recording, that I have those things, but I don't follow myself.
No, it's not.
I still remember that at the day of grandson.
So you found the way?
Yes,
Because your phone was also not reachable.
My phone is reachable in my room or anything on that.
Oh,
For this,
WhatsApp.
just to see. The same thing.
Not the one which is
No, but the one that's.
Yeah, that will work.
In these classes, that I can follow. Of
I would not. Outside you do something that's so learning.
does not.
Automatically open. Because it's not a there if you want to say it's here.
I didn't lost the job. I go and come back.
That's it.
I have heard but they can't hold some for admission. They will have some hotel. And then they will give admission at day and day. It's a big guide.
After that, we will start. And we have all the ideas planned. Yes. On your feet, guys. Mobile I can read. I also am not saying right only not like any other kind. Then Okay, so you need to spend some time. That's nice.
Yeah. Oh, hello. See you. Thank you. See you again.
So we can still start. One challenge. We'll wait for 3 minutes. We'll wait for 3 minutes. No, no.
You can wait for 3 minutes. It's not exactly.
They're supposed to pick up anybody from the hospital or anywhere. That's what I heard. But I'm not in the. Maybe I'll take that. ನೀನು ಅಪ್ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ನಾನು ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ
Take a car. Get the key when you go. What is the key for you? Yeah, come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and fellow participants, a very warm good morning to you all. On behalf of Center for Advanced Research in Applied Mathematics and Statistics, CARM's Mahi Manipal, it is my privilege and honor to welcome you all to the International Conference on Linear Algebra and its Applications, ICLA 2023, the fifth in its sequel. The event marks a significant milestone in our journey of exploring the diverse and impactful world of linear algebra. We are fortunate to have amongst us distinguished guests and renowned scholars who will inspire us with their knowledge. I am pleased to introduce Professor Peter Semrel from Institute of Mathematics, Physics and Mechanics, Slovenia, Professor Stephen Haslett from Massey University, New Zealand, who will grace the occasion as chief guest. We are really honored to have Dr. Narayan Sabahej, Pro Vice Chancellor, Technology and Science, Manipal Academy of Higher Education, Manipal, serving as the president for this event. Our gratitude extends to Chairman of the Scientific Committee, Professor R.B. Bapat, a distinguished professor at the Indian Statistical Institute, Delhi Center, and adjunct professor at Mahi Manipal. We are pleased to host esteemed committee members, Professor Simo Puntanen, visiting professor from Tampere University, Finland, Professor Stephen Kirkland from University of Manitoba, Canada, Professor Abraham Berman, Emeritus Professor, Technion in Israel Institute of Technology, Israel, in the virtual space. I now invite Professor Manjunath Prasad Karanta, the coordinator of CARMS and the organizing secretary ICLA 2023, to kindly escort the guests to the desk. Kindly join me with requesting our esteemed dignitaries to participate in the lighting of the ceremonial lamp, symbolizing the elimination of minds and the dawning of a new era in the exploration of linear algebra and its applications.
Thank you.
Thank you, professors. I now request Professor Kunjam Sham Prasad, HOD of Department of Mathematics, MIT Mahim Manipal, to extend a formal welcome to all our guests and participants.
A very good morning to everyone. It is my distinct pleasure and honor to welcome each one of you to this inaugural function of Iclaa 2023, organized by Karams Mahim Manipal. We are extremely happy that this event is taking place during the Mathematical Week, National Mathematical Week. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude for the esteemed Professor Peter Semrel, Professor, Institute of Mathematics, Physics and Mechanics, Slovenia. Welcome you, sir. With great honor, I welcome Professor Stephen Haslett, Massey University, New Zealand. Welcome you, sir. With great pleasure, I welcome Dr. Narayan Sabahit, Pro Vice Chancellor, Technology and Science, Manipal Academy of Higher Education, Manipal. Welcome you, sir. I express my sincere gratitude for the presence of Professor R.B. Bapat, Chairman, Iclaa 2023, Professor, Indian Statistical Institute, Delhi Center, and Adjunct Professor of Manipal Academy of Higher Education, Manipal. Welcome you, sir. I also extend heartfelt greetings to the professors joining online. Professor Simo Kundanan, visiting professor, Temper University, Finland. Professor Stephen J. Kirkland, Professor and Associate Dean, University of Manitoba, Canada. Professor Abraham Berman, Emeritus Professor, Technion, Israel Institute of Technology, Israel. I welcome you all. I also welcome Dr. Asha Kamath, Madam, Associate Director, PSPH and HOD, Department of Data Science, PSPH. Also welcome Professor Purushottam Sarvade, sir, Head of the Department of Civil Engineering, MIT Mahe. Also, we extend warm welcome to all distinguished participants, guests, and all delegates. I wish you all a pleasant stay at Manipal. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. With great pleasure, I now invite Professor Prasad to provide us with a brief overview of Karams. Over to you, sir.
So, yeah, in the fifth edition of Iclaa 2013, the dais, of the dais, I welcome you all for this particular Iclaa 2023. This upon the fifth edition, as I said earlier, this journey started long back in 2012. At that time, Professor Nair was HOD and Professor Bhatt was registrar. So those two have encouraged me a lot to have some scientific activities related to mathematics. I said, I'll give it a try. The thing came into my mind is having some strong pillars around me. So I took help and the help of Professor Bapat and Professor Puntanan, Sima Puntanan, he was my old friend, and taking his advice, and also for our team, Professor Kirtland at that time was new addition. And we four have teamed up and thought that we will have some activities related to linear algebra and applications, and try to build up network in India, and try to help young minds particularly. So whenever we conducted a conference, we always made a point to have a workshop associated with that helps young minds. So in this is the team we have, and Professor Buffett was made chairman for our scientific advisory committee at that time. And the second one is Professor Iclaa. First, we have that person here in front of you, Professor Buffett. And the last one is Professor Sima from Finland. So these four have helped me a lot in building up a network. If you are a young research scholar here, you can just ask your mentor or guide. In most of the case, they happen to be students at that time, 2012, and or young professors at that time, and they joined us. And now you are all here. So this is a picture of the inauguration of first edition of ICLA. It was called Combinatorial Matrix Theory and Generalized Inverse of Matrices, CMTGIM. At that time, now many of them have become quite old, like me. And so there you have Hunter and my mentor, Professor Bhaskar and others. So this is the crowd who participated in the workshop at that time, and then later out of this conference and workshop, we had a good publication. One is a Springer publication, that is Combinatorial Matrix Theory and Generalized Inverse of Matrices, with the name of the conference. And at that time, Professor Benisel, whom we missed this time, is also there. And along with that, we had a MU publication, that is the matrices, a matrix method in statistics and graphs, that is missing here. Then later we continue this series of activities in the name of ICLA. So in 2014, happened to be Professor Bapat's 60th birthday also. So we had a conference with the name of ICLA 2014. And again, we had these two publications, that linear and drug applications, and we also had a special issue in ELA. So we brought the proceedings of ICLA 2014. And in 2017, we continued, and again, we had a big crowd with almost same set of people with a little more addition. And we had quite many publications on that occasion. One published in Kerala Mathematical Association, and the other one in the Journal of Special Matrices. Okay. So then later, Professor Sabhai became registrar, and Vinod Bhatt, he was vice chancellor, and Asha came down she came as HOD in our department. So at that moment, we thought, why not we have a center for our kind of activities? So decided to have propose a center with the name of PRMS, that is the Center for Advanced Research in Applied Mathematics and Statistics. So that was established on September 22nd, 2018. This was the innovation. Professor Sabha was then registrar, and Professor T.S. Iclaa, he came and involved in inauguration of that particular center. So then later we had several other activities, not just ICLA. There are many other allied activities along with the ICLA. This MAGT is the one among them. And these are other publications. And in 2020, in fact, yes, in 2020, we wanted to have proper conference, but you know what happened during that time. We had a severe problem related to this COVID, and we couldn't have this offline conference. So, and that year happened to be 100th year of CRO, and we wanted to have some activity in its honor. But we couldn't because of the same reason. Though we postponed it by 1 year, we couldn't manage to organize that particular conference properly, in proper manner, offline manner. And then later in 2021, we had it in a hybrid format. Only few speakers could come and join, and ICLA that after almost one more year, we had ICLA 2021 in December again. These only the few members and a few invited speakers. We had a group photo that limited the number of participation. But again, dissemination of knowledge that didn't stop, and COVID didn't become an excuse for the purpose. And we had these two publications published very recently, but it is associated with the earlier ICLA 2021. One applied linear algebra, probability and statistics, that is in honor of Professor Sierra. The other one is a special issue in the AKC journal, International Journal. So continued our activities, and Professor Narayan Sabha, he became pro VC, and he still encouraging us to continue this activity, and as a result of that, we have the present conference. In fact, we scientific committee members are very thankful for the encouragement for our university, and the support was incredible. In fact, we team of 4 scientific advisory committee. You see, everything must come to an end, and some art will be there. Of course, we'll continue with this activity again, but ICLA, I'm not sure whether it will be with the same team or different team in the future. Okay, so we are very thankful to the university, and we like to express our gratitude to the university and Professor Narayan Sabha to be representing the university here, and I request to Professor Ravindra Bapat to honor Professor Sabha by a shout. Yeah, please. It is from me, 4 members of the team.
So
So I'll honor all these people on behalf of you later. So we also had a workshop that is associated with the ICLA, not exactly ICLA, in December 21. These are all allied activities. So these are our publications in the effort of disseminating the knowledge. Many of them were discussed in the conferences, and many other contributions from the others. So with this, I like to conclude. I was tied up with this particular presentation, and I wanted to speak something more, but now this distracted me, and I gone in line with this PPT. So I like to express my deep thanks, heartfelt thanks to you all for coming all the way, and there are several invited speakers, about 26 invited talks and 64, if I'm correct. Correct me, Shinta, if I'm wrong. 65 contributed talks. So total is more than 90. Comes very close to 100. That will be presented. This will be presented in this particular 4 days activities. I'm sorry again. Every time I have to say that. Next time I don't keep any parallel session, but I'll have to continue those parallel sessions in this particular conference also. I regret, particularly contributory speakers. Okay, we'll have to manage with parallel sessions, and I request even others. I'm sure that senior member will be sitting in one or other senior member will be there, and we can. Receive their critical comments which may you in your future research. Okay, hope that you will be benefited by that their presence here and by their comments, also by listening to those people. Okay, in these 4 days. And one more thing that I want to do convey is in these 4 days we in these 4 days what we do is we dedicate each day for one or other senior members whom we may not have in the next episode or next edition of ICLA. Some, I hope that they will come again and be with us, but still, since there will be lesser chances, and moreover they contribute to us a lot all this time, we dedicate each the scientific activities of each day in the name of different eminent people. And tomorrow, apart from scientific activities, so we will be having a special conference dinner this evening. All of you are invited. Formal invitation may be given to you by at reception or personal consent, but this is my invitation to you. And tomorrow we will have small cultural activity away from the campus. You are all welcome for that one also. With this, I welcome you again and wish that you enjoy these scientific activities for the next 4 days and take back something from here in terms of knowledge or happiness. So, okay, along with you, and hope that this becomes useful for your future career. This is particularly for the young minds, I'm telling. Senior members may enjoy the association of young people and take back some sweet memories from here, please. Thank you. Please, if you wish to add few lines.
No, Peter Small on the dais, Professor Savai and Professor Stephen Haslett and Prasad, and
dear participants and all the other guests from Department of Statistics and Public Health. So as Prasad mentioned, this activity started more than 10 years ago. And I was part of many of these conferences. And we have been really pampered by this activity and by this university, that nowhere else I have seen such series of very successful conferences and publications. And I should mention that what Prasad put up a list of 4 names, but it's not really 4, it's just 1. I mean, whenever he calls me, I just have to say yes, no, or something like that, I agree. And he is doing all the work. And I think my other colleagues will also agree that this whole activity, I must mention that Manjunath Prasad is the sole responsibility behind the success, and his close attention to detail in everything. It has borne out in the publications. Actually, if you see the publications, they are of at least the highest standard, the quality as well as the presentation. And he presented almost 10 books, which are all full of very interesting articles and different stories. So I think that itself is a proof to his hard work and the corresponding hard work of the team here. But I think this is the first conference after his retirement. So I think we should also acknowledge that. So what he has done in his last 10 years before his retirement, and thankful to that. So I think please don't thank us actually. We want to continue and be part of this. So because thanking us is a way of saying that you are not wanted now. Yeah. So please don't thank that. If they do that, we would like to. Why not? I mean, this activity is so good. Why do people come here again and again? I mean, because the university is set up. If you have seen other universities in India or elsewhere, public or private universities, it's quite unique actually. And the School of Public Health and our guests, if you have not seen the campus closely, I would suggest that you spend a day. Actually, go and see the Museum of Anatomy here. That's something that you must visit. It's just near in the campus, and you will not see anything like that elsewhere. Unless if you are interested in medical science, it's well and good, but even otherwise, it's worth the visit. So, and even the campus, I mean, this is a campus which is, we wish all the universities, private universities in India are like that. They are not. And this campus really stands out. I mean, it's a model of how a private university should be run. You can take the money from the student, but then deliver and pay it back in whatever kind you want to pay it back by excellence in academics as well as other activities. So I think this is a very well, nicely set up model of private university in India. So I would ask the visitors especially. And many times we get requests from other universities that we want to have the next edition of Iclaa. The Iclaa has created sort of a brand name, but I don't think that it's not difficult, it's not easy to sort of maintain the standards. And Prasad has mentioned that this may be the sort of final edition of Iclaa, but I hope that it will continue under some pretext. But now I feel that the day of actual conferences is getting over now because of the online activities. I think even this time, if you apply for a support for an actual conference, you can manage to get support now because not many people are applying. Very difficult to organize because when people can speak online and be present online, why should they come and travel and sort of attend a conference? The day of actual conferences is sort of near the end. That's what I feel. I mean, there will be less and less conferences, but that is where we learn more things, we meet people, and that's a unique experience. So whatever slides he put up, I remember each and every one of those conferences and the cultural activities that were part of those conferences, and every time there is some new people. And this time also we have some very distinguished visitors who are coming for the first time. I think Peter has come for the first time to Manipal. Apurva Khare has come for the first time. And so these are people who you should take advantage of their presence. And I hope that this continues next year, that we get more and more. Already many people have visited, but it sort of spreads more and more. And it's, in some form, the activity continues. That's what I would request with you also to, because support is not a problem now. I think that's what, if you apply and want money, you can get it. It's only the matter of younger people getting interested in the area and convince them to come here and have a conference. Okay, so I think again, because of the corona, I think this was a big event after that, and I think it has got very, very good response. And so there are lots of registrations and lots of speakers and invited talks as well as plenary talks. So there is one major activity after the quiet that we faced, the corona that got us. And so now I think it has sprung back to its earlier glory. And this year's conference is quite full of that cultural, academic as well as cultural activities. So I think it will be a sort of a fresh start. That's what I feel. So I urge you to take advantage of the excellent program and meet the speakers who are here and make it again a grand success. Already the publications that have come out, if you have not seen them, they're excellent publications. One in honor of E.R. Rao and Arvind Lal, and also another series of papers. So they're all tied up with this conference, and those are very excellent, high quality publications. So I think this activity should continue in some form, and I wish it well. And thank you very much.
This time also we'll be having about 4 publications. We'll be having 4 publications.
4 publications? Apart from those 2?
No,
Oh,
yeah,
tied up.
total 4, yes.
4 in addition. No, 2 have already come out.
No. For this, I mean, dedicated to this conference.
Dedicated to the.
I missed that point. I thought we will be doing.
4 publications will come. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Prasad and Professor Bapat. With great anticipation, we now request our esteemed chief guest, Professor Peter Semel, to address the gathering.
Thank you very much. Greetings to all of you. I will start with my personal remarks on my connection to India. It started some 30 years ago. At that time, Rajendra Bhatia visited Slovenia. We started to work together. Then soon after, we had our first joint paper, and later on, several more. He visited Slovenia several times. I visited in his place several times, and because I liked India more and more, I also went to other conferences in India, to other places. And so far, I mean, before coming here, I have been already 15 times to India. So I, as you can see, I like India. Okay, maybe a personal remark. I like Indian food, especially. I was aware of this series of conferences for quite a long time, so I'm happy that finally I'm one of the participants in its 5th edition. I joined the wish of Ravi, not the last one, hopefully, just the 5th edition. When we speak about conferences, okay, let me start again with my personal experience. when I was young mathematician, and I'm happy to see there are a lot of young people here. I started to take part in conferences. It was just more or less enjoying life. Traveling to interesting places, meeting interesting people, going to interesting talks. And I mean, it was a lot of joy. Okay, something that it's also a lot of frustration. Especially at the beginning, you just simply don't understand anything. Then over the years, situation changes. So still there are a lot of things all throughout career that you don't understand. I mean, no problem. Many talks are just, you have to understand them as an invitation to the area. You can get back home and understand them later. Okay, so at that time, I was not thinking what is the purpose of conferences. I was just enjoying life. If I now look back, I can tell that conferences are extremely important. And I would say, in particular, they're extremely important for young people. It's not just that you listen talks, that you listen to new research directions, challenging open problems. It's much more important. So that's why I agree. Conferences face-to-face are important. Online conferences do half of the job, because half of the job is that you really meet people, because you are at some talk and you find some open question interesting, and right at the moment you have an opportunity to ask the question, not just these few questions at the end of the talk. There are long breaks, there are coffee breaks, where you can approach a speaker and then you can learn the background of the problem. Oh, that's important. You can get advices about the literature. And if I look back in my career, what is important, you bring this home. At the conference, probably, I mean, it's a little bit too optimistic that you will do something there, but you bring this home, you study by yourself, and if you are able to make kind of substantial contribution, now as it's easy to send an email, and this is very likely to be, it's very likely to turn into some long-term cooperation, many joint projects. That's the purpose of conferences. And in such a way, a young mathematician who just wants to do mathematics, he's just young, before he or she knows, she becomes a well-established member of the community. This is impossible. Okay, it's possible, but very difficult. It's much, much easier if you take part in conferences. Because you can learn new research directions better, you can ask for some advice, you know the person, so later on you can send an email with few questions, and so it's much, much easier. Therefore, I think that organizing conferences, this in particular, and therefore on behalf of all of us, I guess I'm sure it's on behalf of all of us, I express our sincere gratitude for all the effort you organizers bringing us interesting talks, nice discussions, mathematical, non-mathematical, but also warm hospitality and very nice weather and Indian food. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Professor. We will now have the pleasure of hearing from another esteemed chief guest, Professor Stephen Haslett, who will address the gathering. Professor.
First of all, I'd like to say greetings, and also that it's very nice to be back. I think I've been here, well, I certainly a number larger than two,
Yeah.
But I've lost count. It's been everyone has been a very pleasant occasion. I think that there are perhaps many things I could say, but I'll try and restrict myself. I think there's also an important thing. Some years ago, I was on a research committee at my university, and the deputy vice chancellor in charge of research who was not a mathematician or a statistician, although he thought he knew some things about both, said that there was no need for people like me to go to conferences because I could write it all down and send it to somebody. And we had quite a long discussion about this. I'm not sure he was convinced, but I wasn't convinced by him either. Because I think the important thing about this is what I call bandwidth. So I find that, for example, when a problem is well formed and you're communicating with somebody, sometimes email is sufficient. But if you're not quite sure what you're talking about, and it's at both ends, it's much, much more difficult. I've visited India a number of other times. I'm an applied statistician in many ways. I very much enjoy coming to these conferences because for me, they're less applied. And it's an opportunity to do some linear algebra, which I rather enjoy. But the other visits I've had here have included visits for reviews for the New Zealand government of aid programs, because I do quite a lot of work for the United Nations. I think the important thing about this relates to the bandwidth thing, and I think that you may wish to focus on a particular area, maybe in linear algebra or somewhere else, but always be open to the opportunities that come from doing things that are related. And I think that relatedness is not just a relatedness in terms of topic, but it's also a relatedness in terms of people. I hope that as many of you as want can come up and talk to me about things that you think I may not even about them. I think one of my visits here, I gave a talk to postgraduate students on small area estimation, which I do quite a lot of for the United Nations World Food Programme. But again, you see, these things, they appear not to be linked to one another, but they are very connected to one another. Even the review of aid programs. So I think don't limit off my suggestion to all the younger ones among you, and I think many of you on this room are younger than me. In fact, I would suggest that most of you are. That particularly those of you who are trying to find your way in this, be open to opportunities. Don't think that what something is not relevant to what we do. Don't keep your focus too tight. Be aware of what you want to hold on to, but also think about other things that may come along and take those opportunities. I'd like to also just mention Professor Simo Punjanen, who I've written quite a number of papers with, and it echoes Peter's view. I met Simo because I knew Professor Jeff Hunter, and we talked for a while, and I think he thinks much more algebraically, I think rather more geometrically. That was our first problem. And the second one was that the communication because of language. Simo's English is excellent, but it doesn't matter how good, you need to talk a lot backwards and forwards. And I was fortunate through conferences to be able to meet him often and to have visited Sweden. Not just Sweden, but it was meeting him in Sweden, but also Finland, where he lives. And I think that opportunity, that sort of meeting people, that communication is the very important thing, because without it, I find myself, if I'm working alone on a problem, I lose the balance in it. I don't see how other people might see it. So communication is the key. The final thing I'd like to say is just to thank everybody who's been involved in this conference and putting it together. I'm looking down here particularly. I'm just very pleased that all of you, thank you. I'm very pleased that all of you have been able to assist and make this, again, a very enjoyable conference to come to. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor. I now request Dr. Narayan Sabahir to deliver presidential remark. Over to you, sir.
Good morning to everyone present here. Chief guest of today's function, Professor Peter, Institute of Mathematics, Physics and Mechanics, Slovenia. Professor Stephen, Massey University, New Zealand. Dr. Professor R.B. Baper, Indian Statistical Institute. Center coordinator and the organizing secretary of this conference, Dr. Manjuna Prasad Karan, other resource persons, keynote speakers, delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very happy to be a part of this function. Of course, he has been conducting regularly the functions. I think most of the time been attending his events. This year is 125th birth anniversary of our founder, late Dr. T.M.A. Pai, Padma Shri Award. We are all here today because of this great visionary. His model of education was conceived way back in 1950s. He started a medical college, self-financing first medical college in the country, 1953, Kasturba Medical College, which is well known, not only within India, but across the world. At that time, we had only 28 public medical colleges in the country, and this was the 29 and the first private medical college. So people were thought that it's not going to work. The private medical college at that time when he started, it's not going to work. But he was sure that it is going to work. How it works, how the model is. The model was that students and parents, you give me the fees. I will give you the good faculty and good infrastructure, and you will get the degree. So this is the model. In public universities, what happens is that that is taxpayers' money. They support the faculties, infrastructure, all those things. Here we don't have money. Founder has no money. But he said that I'm sure you are going to get the degree without any this thing, the problem. And just in the year when he started, in the beginning, first year itself, he got for 100 admissions, he got almost 400 applications. So there was good number of applications, and then he started. So what happened after that? Many have followed this model. Of course, he had a lot of challenge to start this. So that's how the Manipal has evolved. So whatever you get from the fees, from the students, you flow it back. That is developing infrastructures, and also pay for the good faculties. So that is the model which is now almost, now of course, almost 50-50, 50% of the private colleges, 50%, the public funded colleges. So that's how it has all began, and then you can see how it has grown. Now coming to the center when we created in 2018, we have a large number of centers in the universities. The idea is that there are in a faculty strength of something like 3,000 faculties we have. There are some faculties, of course not many, they are highly self-motivated. They want to grow. So they want to grow at the same time they want to grow the center also. So that's how we created that, if somebody is really interested to work, create a center and then work for the center and see that, it comes out and it's beneficial for not only to the organization, but also to the publics in general. So that's how this center has been created. I will tell you, out of 100 centers currently, not all are doing at this level. Maybe almost 10 to 15 centers are doing extremely well. I'm very happy to announce that this is one such center which is doing extremely well. Definitely. Now coming to the conference itself, if you look at it's an international conference on linear algebra and its applications. What I strongly believe that anything you study, not just the mathematics, any area you study, it should find applications and it should be useful for the publics. That's how, If you look at the mathematics, even now there are so many people, they argue that what is there, the studying in differential equations, the integer, this, what they call, the integrals or whatever, you study so many things, Laplace transform, or, the Fourier series, all those things we study. People say, what is the use of it? Obviously, because if you just study that, you will not be knowing what is its application. Even in my case, when I am studying, I'm a civil engineer. When I was studying even, the engineering, we studied a lot of things. Mathematics, almost 4 semesters we studied every semester mathematics subjects. But I never knew that it has certain, the high applications, because the kind of studies, at that level is not related to the application. In the sense, it is not extended to the application part. It was basically the teaching theoretical and solving problems. Solving problem is not that all that great. Of course, I was a good student in mathematics, used to score very high marks, but still I didn't know what is the use of it. But when I went to the higher studies, particularly when I went to masters in IIT Kanpur, there everything is applications. Mathematics means it starts with applications. Forget theory will be at later stage. So I realized that how important the application is. So my suggestion is here, people, please, anything you learn, even if it is 2 plus 3, you should know what is the application of 2 plus 3. 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. It doesn't mean anything unless you put into an application. So that is very, very important. Later I used, of course, I used many places like linear algebra itself. I used particularly the solving optimization problems. Linear programming is extensively used in civil engineering. Later, a finite element method. Some of you may be knowing also. Without the linear algebra, I don't think anybody can use the finite element method, which is we use everywhere. It's everywhere we use applications, including in construction industries. So such is the the power of mathematics. But people at the students in the beginning stage itself should know that where you are going to use it. Otherwise, they will start asking questioning what is the point in studying this. So this is a very, very important stage, particularly when you are studying. Of course, maybe up to 10th standard, maybe a little difficult, but I'm sure people will certainly, appreciate its applications at the higher levels. So as Dr. Babat mentioned, this is a multidisciplinary campus. It's a huge campus, and we have almost everything here. You name any course we have, except maybe I can count it, veterinary, maybe a law here we don't have. But otherwise, I think you name any program we have. And we have a lot of things to see here also. Of course, anatomy museum is one of them. And we have a what we call indoor, the sports complex. It's a marina. Some of you might have seen, but you are not seen. Please see that, visit. It's an the indoor sports complex having about 1.5 lakh square feet area. You have everything inside. You don't have to go outside. Because this region rains heavily almost 4 months. So during that time, the outdoor activities are very, very minimal. So we thought that let our students, use this sports complex during those times. So that's how it has come up. It is one of the best in Asia. You can just, really visit this. And there are other, the places to see. Library is, of course, one of the best health science library. So with it, I am sure I will ask the organizers. I will provide you the support. Please arrange visit to these places for the participants, particularly those who are visiting first time. And Prasad has made a lot of effort to bring, the top quality, very highly resourced persons, renowned people in mathematics. They are here and in person. Please interact with them. And this opportunity will not come again and again. Sometimes they may come this conference, sometimes next time they may not come also. So this is a very good opportunity for particularly young mathematicians here, and interact with them. And then, as already mentioned, offline, online cannot replace the offline, right? So one-on-one, the interaction is always better. You can have more understanding. Because many times in online, what happens is everybody will raise their hand, but sometimes your turn may not come also, right? So here it is not like that. If your turn doesn't come, you can go out and during the coffee time, you can still meet the people and discuss. Thank you very much for the opportunity and all the best. And sir, I assure you that the center will continue and will make sure that even if he retires, I am sure he will find a suitable replacement, and we'll see that that this will grow, and also it will be useful for the organization also. Thank you very much, and have a nice time in Manipal next 4 days.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for moderating us. We have come to the end of this inaugural function. To express our gratitude, we will hear a vote of thanks by Ms. Bhakti Rao, Department of Data Science, PSPH, Mahe.
Good morning, everyone. As we bring this inaugural function to a close, it is my deemed pleasure to propose vote of thanks, acknowledging the support and efforts that have made this gathering a successful one. I would like to thank the chief guest of today's inaugural function, Professor Peter Samuel and Professor Stephen Heslett. Thanks, sir, for honoring us with your presence and your valuable insights. My sincere thanks to the president of today's function, Dr. Narayana Sabahir. Your presence has elevated the significance of this event, sir. Thank you. Special thanks to all the dignitaries who have taken time to join us today. Professor R.B. Bapat, Professor Simon Punton, Professor Stephen J. Iclaa, Professor Abraham Berman. Thank you, sirs. My sincere thanks to Commander Dr. Anil Rana, Director of MIT Mahe Manipal, Professor Manjunatha Prasad Karanta, Coordinator of CAREMS, Professor Kuncham Shram Prasad, HOD Mathematics Department. Thank you, sirs. My heartfelt thanks to all the associate directors, heads of various departments, faculties, other dignitaries, research scholars, and the students who are present here with us. I thank SMV Seminar Hall, MIT Campus Mahe Manipal for providing us all the logistic supports. I thank all the members of CAREMS, Department of Mathematics, Department of Data Science, Mahe Manipal, who worked hard to make this event a successful one. Once again, thanks to all the participants for being the part of this special event. I wish all the best, and may the future bring success and fulfillment to every one of us. Thank you.
Thank you once again. So we will now have a tea break. Tea is arranged outside the hall. I request all of you to take tea, and I request everyone to gather near Innovation Center shaft at 10:45 for photo session. All the invited and plenary talks will be held at KEF R&D Center.